But the very next verse, أُذِنَ لِلَّذِينَ يُقَاتَلُونَ بِأَنَّهُمْ ظُلِمُوا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى نَصْرِهِمْ لَقَدِيرٌ. Verily, they have been given permission to fight because they have been oppressed. And indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ever capable of giving them victory. This is the first verse that the believers were given permission to fight back after all that had happened to them. And by the way, one of the greatest responses to Islamophobes and those that try to color the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ in a certain way, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that you've been given permission to fight back because you've been oppressed. Because you've been oppressed. All of these years of oppression that built up to this, you being expelled from your homes, you being forbidden from your most basic needs, that's why you've been given permission, and that is something that would resonate with the most basic, decent human being. Anyone with an ounce of humanity, that this makes sense. That after all that you've been put through, you now have the permission to fight back because of the oppression that you have endured. And Allah Azza wa Jalla mentions the cause, and if Allah did not say بِأَنَّهُمْ ظُلِمُوا, they know what type of oppression they've been subjected to. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making it clear, gives a sense of clarity even for generations to follow. But here's how we connect the two verses that are being revealed here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He will defend you in ways that are unseen, but you have to defend yourselves in ways that are known and seen. I will line up the rows of the angels, as the scholars of tafsir say. It's like Allah is saying that when Badr comes, I will line up the rows of the angels. Jibreel alayhi salam will come. They will come to your aid in ways that you can't see. But you also have to take your own precautions. And part of Allah's defense of you is that He allows you to defend yourselves. That Islam is not a passive religion. That you have the right, absolutely, to use everything that is ethical and within your power to push back on those who harm you. And it is not religion to sit back and to say, Ya Allah, when you will descend victory, without taking the means by which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you frameworks to empower yourself and to push back on your own oppression. So no, you don't just sit back and say, Ya Allah, mata nasrullah. Allah will defend you, but defend yourselves. And that's part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's defense of you. That He's given you permission, that He's opened pathways for you, that are within the guidelines, that are within the frameworks, that are ethical, that are in full agreement with what the Prophet ﷺ has brought in terms of a guide for us to live and to exist in this world. Allah will defend you, but are you defending yourselves?